Hey Internet, Lizard here. I got a video on scales. We're going to talk about how the armor of reptilians shields them from... I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about scales on maps. So, I see a lot of maps on Reddit that don't have a scale. And when you add a scale, you sort of turn your map from just a visual representation to a role-playing tool that allows a cartographer to world build and accurately gauge distance. I think that it's a little bit better to have a scale on your map because maps as visual aids can lead to different interpretations of space and thus are less consistent than a map that is both a visual aid and a world-building tool. Don't have a scale bar? Don't have a ratio? Don't worry. Digital or not, this is very easy. It'll take you about 5 minutes. You'll have a scale on your map, and yeah, it'll just be a lot more consistent. So let's get into it. Basically, there are two different ways of displaying the same data that comprises your scale. The first one is a ratio, where one unit on the physical map represents X units in the real world. So you would just draw that as shown. A centimeter on this map is actually a kilometer, you know, in real life. They have to be the same unit, so it's easy to convert, instead of just converting it. So, you know, 1 inch is 1 mile is 163,630. I usually write this off to the side. The other way, my favorite, is the bar! It lets you see a bar that's scaled to the map and represents a certain distance. It's based on the same math as the ratio scale, it's just a different way to represent the data visually. And it's so much better. Not only in terms of the aesthetic, let's be honest, it's also more informative due to the ease of reference. Instead of trying to figure out the number of centimeters in a mile or whatever the heck, you can just use your finger. It's brilliant. Now, when one hears the term large-scale map and small-scale map, they might assume that a large-scale map would depict a large area of land, and thus a small-scale map would depict a small area of land. Well, f*** you, it's actually the other way around. Large-scale maps display small areas, and small-scale maps display large areas, and it does make sense, because the smaller the mapped area, the larger the scale is relative to the, map, because every unit on the paper displays a much larger amount of detail when you use a large-scale map. All cartographic maps are smaller than the geography they represent, so large-scale maps are similar in size to the paper than small-scale maps because they display more precise detail. The chart I've had up this whole time should help. It's pretty gnarly. Alright, so we're going to take a digital map that someone asked to criticize, so sorry, you, whatever. We're going to open your map up in Paint, we're going to give it a scale. So we're going to measure it using the pixel ruler, or aka the line drawing tool. And at its longest point, it's about 1100 pixels. At its widest point, it's approximately 770. Now, if I were a betting person, I would wager all my money that this person shaped their map after the United Kingdom. And that's fine, that actually makes it really easy to create a scale for. I also like using a real-life reference for things, and have used the United Kingdom. So, if we're going to measure that in miles, at its longest point, it is 561 miles. At its widest point, it is 341 miles. And now we're going to do a little bit of math. We're doing pixels per mile, right? That's going to be the scale that we're working with, ppm. So we're going to do 1100 divided by 561, and it's going to give us 1.9607, basically 2. And just to see if they're being consistent, we're going to do 770 divided by 391, and get almost the exact same number. That's hilarious. So from this we can deduce that approximately 2 pixels equals 1 mile. Here's where you can waste your life drawing a scale bar in MS Paint. Oh, the agony. Oh, the toil. That over there, not even my map, just an example. And perfect. Not really. But you get the point. So this is the old school map I made probably 6 years ago, maybe, for D&D, and yeah, doesn't have a scale, and it's not digital, real life paper. Let's say it takes 24 days to walk a foot. A half-inch equals a day's walk. So this terrible scale bar is what we're working with. How many miles can you walk in a day? Let's say you can walk 20 miles in a day. So half an inch now equals 20 miles. Remember math and remember America. There are 63,360 inches per mile. Lol. So we take that and we multiply it by 20 and we get, oh god, my calculator's my phone. Okay, so now we know that your D&D characters can walk 1,267,200 inches per day. We actually have to double that, so...
500.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Alright, cool. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our large-scale map for this. If we want to make a scale bar, it's pretty easy. Yep, I'm going to draw it through the lens of my phone, and it's going to be terrible. Alright. And so 1 inch is 40 miles. So that's 40, that's 80, and that... Oh yeah, that's scales. It's a classic case of a little bit of math going quite a long way. They can be purposeful, they can be kind of fun, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's just excellent for playing Dungeons & Dragons. Have a nice evening, Internet. Thanks for watching.